Hello all, and welcome to Hockey on Tap podcast. This is episode 15. Rangers win the disaster NHL lottery. I'm your host, Bill Dean, and I'm here, of course, with my two co-hosts, Steve Echevarria, who's actually getting filled in right now by Melvin, and Michael Sandillo, a.k.a. Little Steve, the Cat, and Schwim. We also have our podcasting guru, the father of pods, Sam Wu from Let's Go Devils podcast. We will also be joined later by Shorts Guy to get his take on the fabulous news that just happened. But before we announce this really quickly, what beer are you drinking, Schwim?
I don't know. I don't even know what to say right now. Like, everything else is trumping what I should be drinking, like 4 beers at the same time. I'm drinking a shotgun sour by Abomination Brewing Company. They have a bunch of different ones of these, actually. This one is red raspberry and blackberry, really good. They have like 4 or 5 different versions of this, and they're all really, really good. Definitely recommend, and weird artwork on it. I don't know if you can see it. Really weird stuff
That's
going on.
Cool stuff. I like it.
What do you got?
I don't know if Sam has a beer, but I have I have 2 beers because it's a good drinking day. Blueberry Boyfriend. It's a giant blueberry. It's actually pretty funny. If I ever get in the right frame. But Blueberry Boyfriend by Prairie. It's a sour ale with blueberries and lemon zest. And then for later on, because like I said, it's drinking day, Pineapple Creamsicle New England IPA by Beer Tree. So it's pretty good stuff. Sam, do you have a beer or you want me to just keep going?
I have
he's
non-alcoholic Poland Spring
for the good kids.
Clear alcohol.
Yeah. And also, I have a remote control like that guy that was doing the lottery. You know, the lottery balls. So I'm controlling Billy Dean's microphone if he decides to piss me off because as I'm pissed off right now.
I'm not going to be mean. It's a fun day. It's like, we were chatting. It's a good. So let's get into it because obviously the big news: NHL draft lottery, the determination for the number 1 pick in the draft. Obviously, we all know we had Toronto, we had Edmonton, we had the Pittsburgh Penguins, we had the New York Rangers, we had the Nashville Predators, we had the Minnesota Wild, we had the Florida Panthers, and we had Winnipeg Jets. I'm sorry for Winnipeg. It was their pick at 12 that actually got the chance to get the number 1 draft lottery ball. They did not win it. The New York Rangers won the right to draft either Alexis Lafreniere or Quentin Byfield, whoever they want to take at number 1. So that is the Rangers' own pick. Obviously, and I'm sure Sam will play the video later. I was ecstatic. I think it's a great day, obviously for Ranger fans, and it's just is what it is, right? You're a fan, you're happy to have that pick. But I also think it's great for rivalries. I mean, the Rangers Devils is going to be ridiculous now. You have two, you have the number 1 and number 2 on the Rangers, and then you had 2 number 1s the last 3 years for the Devils, last 4 years for the Devils. So, that rivalry is going to be fantastic, and everybody on Facebook Live. Tons of comments because obviously it's a pretty big news. But Schwim, I know we talked about this. Everyone was going to be unhappy no matter who the pick was. If it went to Florida, everyone would have been like, why would you give it to the worst team in the league or like a state that doesn't deserve it? If you gave them to Winnipeg, they already have the forwards. If you gave it to anybody, Penguins, if they got it, go from Crosby to the new kid. Toronto, God forbid you give them 8 million young stars. And then Edmonton, same thing, right? How many times have they had a number 1 pick and they ruined it? And then we go from here. I mean, obviously the Rangers, they do have the talent. They were in the qualifying rounds. I understand everybody's, upset about how it played out. But
what do you mean
upset,
right? Bill, stop it. Stop it. Now I'm going to go on a rant. I've been patient for about 2 minutes. I'm going to go through every single NHL conspiracy theories like no other, because I've already found flaws what happened. I'll name 3 off the top of my head. Number 1, you've got this guy with the mask on. You should blindfold him. He's got his remote control like the NHL got the best gamer at the controls looking at it. Number 2, when they drop the ball, literally, figuratively, and there's a pun somewhere in there, they dropped the Rangers ball. That was my first clue that it was going to be the New York Rangers, and then they had to scoop it up. Oh, we didn't mean that. We didn't mean that. Right? Third thing, and you cannot deny it, you go to the videotape of the last few drafts. It's Bill Daly announcing it, not Gary Bettman. I know this is a little special. It's a little but it's Gary Bettman because he's there for one reason, to make sure that the fix is in. And I love you, Gary. I love booing you. But right now, you wonder why hockey fans are always thinking conspiracy theories. Oh, the NHL wants the Rangers to win it because they need TV ratings. And you know what? One thing is apparent that is, not fake. The Rangers suck so bad that that damn machine sucked them up, that stupid freaking ball, to be the first overall pick. That's why I'm mad.
Yeah, Schwim, you want to go? Because
I'm not going to yell at you, Billy Dean, because I was just happy that Edmonton didn't get it or Pittsburgh didn't get it. Those are the two teams that I didn't want to get it. Steven's not here, so I can say that. But if he was here, I would still say I didn't want Pittsburgh getting it.
No.
And there was no way I didn't think Minnesota or Florida had any chance of getting it. So
no, I didn't either.
With the teams left over, that leaves Rangers, Nashville, Toronto, and Winnipeg.
Winnipeg.
And I didn't want Edmonton. And who am I forgetting? Somebody else. I don't know. Whatever.
Jets. The Jets. Oh, you said Winnipeg.
I said that, but I honestly thought I was convinced it was going to either Edmonton or Toronto.
I was too,
because Edmonton's had all those first-round picks forever. Toronto's been horrible in the playoffs for years, and I thought that this would be like a consolation prize. And I can't say I definitely yelled out an expletive when I saw that it was the Rangers that won the freaking that won it. I was like, I yelled, it was. I should have done a video like you did.
Sam, you let me know when you want to put the video on, because obviously
before I put on the video. Before I put on the video, I wish I had a videotape of the reaction, because we have a videotape reaction of Billy Dean. We have actually exclusive footage here on the Hockey on Tap podcast, all powered by Nova Product Design on the Primetime Radio Network. Anyway, I had to get that plug in, but I wish I had a video. But then again, because my wife heard every single expletive. But all I will say, it was so grotesque what I was yelling. I was so pissed off. But I have to say, anyway, let me just roll. I wish I had a video of it, but quickly, my scouting report on Lafreniere is like completely opposite. Before
you play the video, I'm like video myself, and I'm watching the screen, and all of a sudden I see the white ball, because it just faced out white, so you can't see what it is. And they turn to the side, and I thought it showed Leafs. So I was like, and then all of a sudden I see the Rangers, and then I blow up. But you can play it so everyone can see this.
All right.
Warning though, give everybody a warning. Little kids might want to look away.
Yeah, warning note. Yeah.
All right. They're going bubbles. I don't even see the Ranger ball. I think it already fell off the thing. Steve, I swear to God, if this is Penguins, you're getting punched right square in that big nose of yours. I'll gladly take a punch to the face right now if it's the Rangers. Dude, my heart is beating extremely fast. It's like 1,000 beats per minute. Oh my God. Oh, stop talking and fucking pull the ball. Sorry for the curse. Oh, of course. Rangers! Oh my God! Oh my God, the Rangers! Woo! Rangers! Rangers got the number pick! Rangers got the number pick! I had to jump over my dog right there. I'll run down the street. No, that was genuine on the spot stuff. I was telling all these guys that, because I would either be an angry like Ranger fan would be like, all right, this is stupid, or I would have that kind of thing. So, yeah. So all the people, Lewis Griffel, he's like, that was me, except I got my shirt on. No, there's another video that maybe we'll pull up sometime. My wife actually was during one of the Jets drafts, and I had my shirt off, and they picked Sam Darnold. It was the Darnold draft. The Giants, of course, obviously skipped over taking him. And, man, I was so happy, and I got a big woo in there. My wife actually video recorded it, and they were saying that it's just as good as this one. So
that was part of the deal. You had to take the shirt off if they wanted.
I mean, how'd you get the Benny Hill music in all that?
yeah. That's very good editing right there.
Actually, I got another version. I actually got another version because it was between that version or let's see here. Let's play that again, and let's go now.
This is great.
I think I like the first song. That song's great also, but I think I like the first song better.
Yeah, the first one's definitely better, but yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
And I noticed that since we're live right now, I noticed our numbers just like plummeted the second video.
Oh, man.
We sunk it to a new low here. That's all right.
Yeah, we got 47 people watching, so thanks everybody for tuning in. Obviously, you're
Thank you, everybody.
A fat man.
You can come back now. It's
his
safe.
own lawn.
No one is taking their shirt off anymore, I hope.
But yeah, so fantastic. But yeah, like I said, Rangers getting the pick. For Ranger fans, that's awesome. For everybody else, they hate it. So it is what it is. I don't care. I can be happy. But yeah, day. I mean, obviously, that's the big news for today. But other news and just the NHL playoffs continuing. Do you guys want anything else for the number pick?
Yeah. Can I say one thing before we go on?
Absolutely.
You ruined my plans tonight. My plans were to have this up and shoved right in your face, and I brought this. You know what it took for me to get this?
You don't own a broom?
Now it's worthless. Absolutely worthless. I don't even need this crap.
Yeah, now, I mean, we'll get into it because obviously I have a lot of comments on the Rangers, Habs. Rangers
doesn't matter
Canes.
now. I'm switching the jersey. I'm taking this jersey down.
Yeah, you should change that jersey. Put back on the Tamper because they actually have a playoff series to get into. Yeah,
meaningful hockey to play.
Steve can still suck at the Canadians right there. So
yeah, he's not here. So we're gonna keep that up until he gets here.
But yeah, so Sam, you got anything else?
There we go.
Well, I mean, come on. How obvious can they rig it? I mean, seriously.
And look at this guy. The cinematics that came into this whole portrayal, right? They have the guy walking with the briefcase. It looks like it's actually handcuffed to his hand. He's walking into the studio, right? And he pulls it up, and
that would have been amazing.
No, it would have been, but it wasn't. But it looks like it would have been some stupid like that. They have a handcuff. He opens it up, and there's 8 slots for each ball, and then he has to show Bettman each individual logo.
That was
and
the
Bettman
dumbest
has
part.
to verify that it's actually real.
Bettman confirm it. Yes, that is indeed the Rangers logo, yes.
So then the Rangers thing, because everyone's posting on Twitter.
They couldn't get a monkey to say yes to do that.
He pulls out the ball, and he just drops it right away. And I'm like, wow, they already screwed up the Rangers pit. They already screwed up the Rangers ball, figures. So the guy had to lift it up out of the chute and re-show it around for Bettman to confirm. And then everyone's like, well, that's when he put the magnet on there, so it'd suck up to the top. so they put in the rest of the balls, and I don't know the lady that's on NHL Network who was commentating, but
Jamie Hirsch.
Just get off the screen. I want to see the ball. I want to see Toronto win the pick, and so I can be furious on this video, which I would have sent to you guys too. But so yeah, just great stuff. So there was a bunch of I sent you guys a couple things, but there was some pretty good stuff on Instagram. I saw the one about oh man, what was it? It was where they said the ball looked heavy, and it's because it's filled with Lundqvist sadness. I was like, that's great. Yeah,
that was great.
There's some great stuff on there, but yeah. So, Matt Junior with now Lundqvist might stay. I mean, we'll get into that more and more, but I do obviously hope that he stays around. Maybe they'll trade Georgiev, and try to get his salary. Find something, but obviously he's going to want to stay around. Maybe and some good stuff for Rangers fans. So we haven't not that you guys care, but we haven't had a number one pick since 1965. So it's not like we get number one picks all the time and we're loading up like Edmonton and Toronto. So it's good stuff. So all you guys on Facebook Live, yeah. I mean, thanks for tuning in again. Obviously, we're going to keep on going over some playoff matchups if Sam doesn't have anything else on this. Obviously, when Shorts Guy comes on in like 4 minutes, we'll get right back into it. But at least we can, keep going around fix or loser. Apparently, Schwim and Steve don't sweep. That's a pretty good one.
The broom is from like 1945. For sweep it out chimney soot.
And then
I found it at work and I brought it, and now it's worthless.
Yeah, now it's in your house, just spreading disease around. Now, a couple people, the Rangers have 2 left wings with over $15 million tied up. I'm okay with that. But some good stuff. Sam, you got any other good stuff before we change over for a minute?
You know what? This whole thing has ruined. Like, I thought I was going to come into this show today about my wonderful predictions from last week. When I picked the BJs over Toronto, I picked Vancouver over.
You were 7-1.
Yeah, I picked the Flamers, to win. I picked the Blackhawks over the Edmonton Oilers. I thought I was going to be like, yeah, you guys suck. Yeah, Canadians over the Penguins, and if you go back to those podcasts, Hockey on Tap. My reasoning was pretty good. I always had reasons for everything. So, but if you want to beat the Woo, the Let's Go Devils podcast has its own bracket that's not rigged. We're not changing things on the fly after things happen. It's real, it's live, and it's fair. Click on the link below in the Facebook Live, Primetime Radio Network's Facebook Live. Hey, you could try to beat the Woo as I was 7-1. The only guy that screwed me was John Hines in Nashville. Jerk. Yeah, why don't you change up the line some more, buddy? Can't even do anything right. All you had to do was beat the Coyotes. That's all you had to do. Jerk. And you even had the intel on Taylor Hall. Jerk. Anyway.
Never pick your former coach. Always bet against him.
Yeah, Joe Stanislaw, Facebook Live. Congrats, you got Hugh Jessamine 2.0 and Alexander Daigle. So, I know I heard you guys talking about it on the podcast yesterday, and Shorts Guy was just continually giving me the Hugh Jessamine stuff.
Hugh Jessamine.
Man, yeah, that 2003 draft. I mean, we'll go over that one, in a future podcast, but that is atrocious for Rangers, and I think there's 2 other teams that if you look at that, you are just miserable. So, but all right, so we'll have Shorts Guy come in a couple minutes, but. Let's get into what's on tap for today's episode. Here's our weekly snapshot. Obviously, the Rangers won the first overall pick. I actually have it here because I had it underlined, and it was going to be a blank, and it was going to be either woohoo, whatever, or effing bullshit. So I had 3 responses for that. So here, number 2, and this is for you, Schwim. Schwim blew his prediction load and is not a clairvoyant. He predicted that Brennan Lemieux would score and lead the Rangers to victory. It's his fault that the Rangers lost.
I don't think I said that they would win. I think I said he would score.
I think you said win, at least game 3. But
did I say
I'm
win?
Blame
I don't remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. I'll take the blame for that.
Also, both hub teams are out. Obviously, we talked about Toronto because they were in the draft, but Toronto and Edmonton, well, both of them, right? They're out of the draft, or they're out of the playoff rounds, and they were both the hub teams. So that's big news in Edmonton and Toronto, big news in general. The Flyers and Knights wrapped up the number 1 seeds for the round robin, and this playoff series coming up is it's got the revenge theme, which is pretty cool. We'll go over quick matchups before we pull in shorts, but we got Flyers versus Canadians. We got the Lightning versus the Blue Jackets, which is obviously last year's playoff blunder for the Lightning. We got the Capitals and Islanders. We got the Bruins and Hurricanes. We got the Knights and Blackhawks. We got the Avalanche and Coyotes. We got the Stars and Flames. And we got the Blues and Canucks. So really good stuff. Sam, just let me know when we're pulling in shorts. But, that qualifying round series, I figured we just go one by one. We'll actually save the Penguins and Canadiens for when Steve comes back. We'll go right to we'll do the reverse order. So we'll do Leafs Blue Jackets first. I don't know if anyone, obviously you guys watched yesterday, and I'm sure the whole hockey world watched yesterday, but that Blue Jackets Leafs series was just crazy. Blue Jackets win the series 3-2. Series notes: Columbus Blue Jackets was just awesome defense. They have great character. They lose all these players and they come back in the playoffs and they go right back to winning. John Tortorella, deserves a lot of credit for that. He's been a great coach for them. Jonas Korpisalo with actually 2 shutouts, and the way he got those 2 shutouts is bonkers. Game 1 he gets the 3-0 win, and then Game 5 he gets the 2-0 win. Matthews, I actually thought he had a great series. He had 6 points, 2 goals, 4 assists. He had 27 shots, which led the league. I thought Tavares looked snake bit. The Leafs had really poor D, and the offense was good or bad, depending on what game they showed up for. It's another year of disappointment for the Leafs. Other pretty good stuff in the series. Dubois had his first hat trick. Atkinson had 5 points. Columbus Blue Jackets, they kept changing those goalies.
This guy, he's focused on that Rangers ball. Yeah, he knows exactly where it is and when to press the button to get it sucked up in there.
He had that sorcery on his fingertips. Just sorcering right up. Rupp on NHL Network ripped on the guys that actually left Columbus Blue Jackets after the game. He said that Bob, Panarin, Duchesne, and Dzingel could not play under Torts, and that they, they're not guys that belong in that locker room. So I guess he had some bone to pick with some of them. I don't think he really blamed Panarin or Duchesne, right? When you're gonna go out and try to get the biggest contract you can, and in free agency, you're not gonna, give it to just a lower seed, right? So. I understand that, but so they were giving some grief. This was the Columbus Blue Jackets and Leafs goal sequences, right? So first game, 2-0 Columbus. Second game, the Leafs win 3-0. Then the Leafs score the first 3 goals in game 3. Then Columbus scores the next 4 goals. Then Columbus scores the next 3 goals in game 4. The Leafs come back with 4 goals in game 5. In game 4 to win in overtime, which was a bonkers game. And then Columbus at the last gets 3 goals. So there was no in-betweens. It was either a load of goals, load of goals, load of goals, load of goals. And so it was fantastic. Game 1, we said Korpisalo with a shutout. Game 2, Toronto, just had that suffocating defense, and they even the series. Game 3, Merzlikins enters in relief of Korpisalo, and the Jets, trailing 3-0, get the win on Pierre-Luc Dubois' hat trick. They win 4-3 in overtime. Then game 4, they come back and they have the 3 goals in the first 2 periods, and then Toronto comes back and they steal the game in overtime. And then game 5, obviously Columbus's defense just shut them down. But Schwim, I know I just talked a lot, but what do you got on that series? Because it was fantastic.
So yeah, I was surprised that the Leafs with their offense, they got shut out twice in that series. I thought that was weird. I was trying to think of when I was watching it, like, what player am I not noticing right now? And when I was watching it, I was saying, like, I'm not really noticing Mitch Marner that much. I was noticing Matthews. I was noticing Tavares. Their goaltending was, okay. Anderson was playing okay. But, like, I really wasn't noticing Mitch Marner that much. So, like, with that team's offense, I was really surprised they got shut out in 2 games. That's like, you think the Leafs, their high-powered offense, they would be scoring a lot more goals. And 2 out of the 5 games, they're blanked.
We said it. Columbus Blue Jackets, that was their first shutout in their playoff history, and they get 2 in one 5-game series.
It's nuts. Yeah. So Columbus, again, I said it before. Columbus is like a playoff built for the playoffs. Yeah. They're a playoff. They're like, they have everything. They have good defense. They have decent scoring. Although I think their power play was an offer. I don't think they scored 1 power play goal, which that might not help them. And going against Tampa, just to talk about that very briefly, Tampa's penalty kill is pretty good. So if they don't get their power play right, that could hurt them. But yeah, that series is great. I watched almost every game of that series. I absolutely watched game 5. I watched the whole thing. I think I watched game 3 and 4 when they had the reverse 4-3 overtime wins for each team. All those games were great. That was one of the best series, I think, in the first round, and it was the only series to go 5 games. Every other series went 4 games, or the Rangers Carolina only went 3. But yeah, so I thought that was one of the best series in the first round, definitely.
No, I mean, you think about it. It's good to see those 5-game series, and we'll get another one that I wish that was 5 games, which was that Winnipeg Flames series. That was just they were just beating the crap out of each other.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm just typing with some guys on Facebook Live. Talking about minor league prospects and how the teams square up. Obviously, both teams are going to be, pretty good in the long term for the Rangers and Devils. So, pretty good stuff. But all right, so let's get to the second series that we wanted to talk about. Islanders-Panthers. Islanders win 3-1. Bolivia and Hoffman both with 5 points, and they turned out to be leading scorers. Barkov, had 4 points, but I thought he was really quiet. Both goalies played well. Obviously, I think Bob and Varlamov both had great series. A couple goals here and there changes it, but the story is the great team D by the Isles, and they're obviously going to now go into the Capitals, which have also established a pretty good defense. And we'll see how this goes. It's going to be a good series, and really looking forward to it. What do you have on that series?
I watched a couple games of that series. I didn't watch that whole series, but I knew the Islanders were going to win it just because they're a better team than Florida. I picked Florida only because of Jeff Turner, and he likes the Islanders, so I had to go against whatever he wanted. That was the only reason why I picked Florida, but there was no way they were going to beat the Islanders. They looked pretty good. They looked very good defensively and actually offensively. Like Beauvillier and Anders Lee looked good, and Barzell was skating all over the place. Honestly, I thought Bobrovsky looked good, but not great. And I think he needed, for them to even have a chance in that series, he had to be like unbelievable. And he wasn't. He was just he was okay. He was good. He still let up some of those like weird goals from like bad angles and crap like that. But another decent series. Some that I watched only, like I said, only a couple of the games, but not a bad. I knew the Islanders were going to win. And I think going into the next round, I think they're going to give Washington a lot of trouble, actually. The way they play under Barry Trotz, I think structurally they're gonna cause some fits for Washington. I think it's gonna be a long series, actually.
Hey guys, there are Devils reinforcements available, so I'm gonna take a quick break. So I'm gonna introduce Shorts Guy.
Yeah.
Nice.
Shorts Guy, you left the screen. Come on, Shorts Guy.
God.
There he
Shorts
is.
Guy.
Wow.
Shorts Guy. You screwed it up.
No way. I needed the banner to be seen. I didn't realize it would get truncated like that. I think you should full screen me so Billy Dean can take in the grandeur of my background.
Okay.
It looks like it says anger.
Yeah, give me a sec here, guys.
Angers suck.
Angers suck.
You're getting angry people.
We do obviously welcome the podcast. It was his third time. Shorts Guy. Thanks for coming back on with us. Obviously, we've seen way too much.
We're not
of you,
paying
but,
you to, per
you're
podcast
not
that you
paid,
come on.
right?
I
So.
hope you know that. All right. There we go.
Oh man.
Never gets old.
Oh man.
Never gets old.
That is the Rangers. The Rangers one is probably the worst. Potvin sucks because they just can't let go of the Islanders, so they should change that around. But
I thought I told our viewers there wouldn't be any more of this.
Our viewers, that wouldn't happen anymore.
Watch our numbers skyrocket in the opposite direction.
Rangers got the pick. Your poor neighbors.
There it is. At the end of that video, it looks like you're like so winded from running around.
I really wasn't. I was just trying to get my thing going, but yeah.
But probably is
Shorts guy, how are you?
Yeah.
What up, Shorts?
I feel a little dejected because of the outcome of that. I would have been happy if Pittsburgh got it. I would have been okay if Toronto got it.
Happy if Pittsburgh got it?
More than the Rangers.
Well, yeah, fine, but not happy.
Compared to the way I feel now, yes.
Oh, well, all right.
He's a Devils fan. He obviously doesn't want the Rangers.
I know that's
succeeding
the worst
in any way.
Scenario. This is a worst case scenario for him, but like saying Pittsburgh, you're
absolutely.
happy for him.
No, it's
again. Glad it just wasn't Edmonton.
Yeah, I would have been okay with that too. Not the Rangers. Anyone but the Rangers.
The one team I didn't want.
Yeah, well, it is what it is. I feel like I need to adjust this flag, but whatever. I needed it, and it. Yeah, look at that. Look at that. Just trying to pick the Rangers. It was a weighted ball. It got dropped early. It was frozen.
Put the magnet on it.
Yep.
I want to know the history and the background of that guy controlling the thing. I don't know who he is.
He was from.
Maybe he's a longtime Ranger fan.
Yeah, true. Yeah,
could be.
I think he's from Ernst & Young. Ernst & Young.
And notice Gary Bettman was doing it, not Bill Daly. He had to make sure that they didn't screw it up.
Oh, like they screwed it up the first time?
Yeah. No, I mean, like I said, I was telling everybody, before that, there's a lot of teams that everyone was going to be unhappy that, that they got that pick. And obviously it's, it just comes down to it that it was going to happen. One of the teams that no one wanted to get the pick was going to get it. And, they weren't going to have Florida take it. Yeah. I mean, it was.
Thank God they didn't get it.
What they should have done is they really should have. Go ahead. Sorry, Shorts.
No, it's really a team like Detroit or LA could use this kid.
Oh, I agree.
Oh, absolutely. Detroit should have gotten this pick. Let's be honest.
Yeah, even to a degree, Ottawa. But I can see why him going there would be a disaster because Ottawa is just a financial and everything mess.
Yeah, worse owners. One of the worst owners.
Yeah, worse than anyone.
Than the Rangers guy, yeah.
There's you guys are still owned by Dolan, right?
I hate him. Yeah,
it's
so bad.
Tool bag.
He's so bad. He cares too much about JD and the straight shots than. Well, actually, I like that he doesn't pay attention to the Rangers. It's just he ruins the Knicks, and he obviously has just his own personal issues. But that's a whole nother story. But no, I mean, I was saying, if they wanted to do it this way, where they wanted to have 16 teams in the draft, they should have waited until after the qualifying rounds and then had the draft, and then you wouldn't have had this issue. It's just that you saw all the teams that were going to go in it, and you're like, oh, hey, good teams are going to be in the lottery, and they screwed that up.
Yeah, no, they absolutely did. It just you knew something was up in the as even before everything got started, and the NHL came out and said, "Oh, we have an eighth envelope." It's like, of course you have an eighth envelope. Like, why would you do anything correctly or do anything? It's like the problem is the higher ups probably sat and they watched what the NFL did with their draft, which surprisingly the NFL got something correct, which they haven't got much correct in the last I don't know how many years. They got that draft correct because it came at a time where everyone was just desperate for something sports related. I even watched it for a little bit. It was not much, but yeah, they just screwed it up.
Yeah, I mean, I know everyone's that's fine. They could say that New York is a different, but they had the chance to give it to a big media market in LA. If you thought it was going to be rigged and they wanted to just have a lower team get it, they could have given it to the Kings and been like, hey, it's a big media market. Obviously, it could be the new Gretzky down there and this whole big thing. So, obviously the rigging part, everyone can say all they want, but they did have that opportunity. But yeah, it was wrong from the get-go what they did. If they had just changed it around, no one would have had a problem if the Rangers had won it. I mean, you would have still hated the pick, but no one would have had a problem if it was just a regular draft. If it was just a regular draft and the Rangers got it, it wouldn't have been as bad as this viewing is right now.
Yeah, no. I completely agree. If it had they waited, like you said, until after the play-in rounds, and then took all the losing teams from the play-in rounds, the bottom 7 that the Devils were included in, and said, all right, there you go. All the balls are in the thing, and then picked from, what was the total? Because I suck at math. It was 16 teams?
16 teams.
No. Yeah, 16 teams. And just pick, and just be like, all right, pick number 16. Yeah. Boom. Pick number 15, and just gone down the line to number 1. It just would have it would have made much more sense. And it just the fact that they
it's about time.
Sorry, I was mourning.
But so Shorts guy, sorry, continue, buddy.
No, that's about it. Like if they would have just waited and they would have done 1 through 16, even if the Rangers still got number 1, it would have sucked. But I still wouldn't have felt like I do now, only because the way the league came out with it and said, oh, there's 8 envelopes and there's 17. It's like, oh man, we know who's getting this number 1 pick. Not any of the bottom 7 that probably need it.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the thing, right? The Rangers would have been.
Wow. I hope he's the next Alexander Daig.
Or Hugh Jessamine, as you said yesterday
for a little bit, and then terrible.
I heard. I was listening, Shorts guy. You were giving us.
I know you were listening. No. Because Hugh Jessamine was a lower pick. I want a good, solid Alexander Daig, first overall. I'll even take a Rick DiPietro type of career out of this kid. You guys will probably give him like a 37-year contract. Within the first 5 days. Front loaded for $100,000 million, and it'll be the next New York. It'll be New York's next Bobby Bonilla contract.
It'll be a Kovalchuk kind of contract.
That was a disaster. That contract was a mess. No, it's not. Yeah. He's right. That was a mess.
Hey, I mean, look at Rick DiPietro. That contract, he's still getting paid. Plus, he's at ESPN getting paid for now analyzing hockey.
Hey,
so he's smart.
Who's the idiot?
Good for him.
Huh?
Yeah, really. It's nice. It's nice when your former roommate and goaltending partner turns into the GM and is the guy making the decision on your paychecks.
Rangers fans can eat chocolate pork roll with poutine on the plate. Oh man, there's some great comments. Everyone is very happy today. So Steve,
that actually sounds fantastic. Is that supposed to be like?
It actually does sound pretty good. Yeah.
Everything is as okay as it can be.
Yeah. So what was your thoughts? Go ahead. Let's hear it.
On the draft?
Yeah.
On the pick. So first of all, I have to say that I was not able to watch any of the lottery, so I didn't see any of it take place. I was just kind of relying on your guys' play-by-play through text message there.
and a nice video.
For some reason, I kind of expected. I don't know why I woke up this morning with this just like unnerving feeling that the Rangers were going to win this pick. And you guys can even tell I was not confident the Penguins would. I've been saying this from the start. I don't want to believe in any sort of fix behind any of this lottery stuff. But I was talking to another one of my buddies about this draft, and I said that the only result that would have legitimately pissed me off would be if Edmonton won, just because of the sheer volume of number 1 picks that they've gotten over the last decade or so. Otherwise, I would have been fine. Obviously, I know people wouldn't have been happy with Pittsburgh having a number 1 pick, even though they haven't had one in 15 years now. But I'm glad it ended up going to, and I think the fans, even though, anti-Ranger fans, I'm glad it went to one of those teams that was basically technically outside of the playoffs. Yeah. I wish it went to Winnipeg because it was their pick, technically. Yeah. That would have been nice. And it just goes to show, Winnipeg's luck where they, if the lottery was done with the playoff, if they, spread it out and just took the guys that were outside of the playoffs based on points percentage, it would have been Winnipeg's pick. It would have been a 2.5% chance for them to win it. They legitimately win it, and then it's not actually their pick. So that's kind of unfortunate for them. But I'm okay with as much as I'm no Ranger lover, and you know that, Dean. I'm consistently rooting against them, but I'm okay with this. So. I think it's good for them and their organization. I think over the last even this season, they become a really fun team to watch. So this will help. I know they still need, and I'm sure you know, maybe you've touched on this already in this podcast, they still need a lot of help in a lot of other places. Yeah. But if you excuse me for a second, speaking about fixes, I forgot my tinfoil hat over in my car. But this whole that the Rangers win this pick and mysteriously Igor Shesterkin sits out the first 2 games of this qualifying round.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody knows this
we'll
mystery injury that comes up.
Well, let's get into that. Let's get into that because obviously we did talk about. So while you're here, we did talk about quickly the Islanders Panthers and the Leafs Blue Jackets series. I don't know if we gave our our thoughts on that. I don't know if you guys have anything quick to add, just quick notes. But you guys got something you want to chat about the Leafs Blue Jackets or the Islanders Panthers?
The Islanders Panthers. I didn't watch a whole lot of that series. I think maybe a lot of people probably didn't, but.
Except for Jeff Turner.
I don't know. I was saying, and I think I immediately texted you guys after the Islanders won that series because I had picked Florida to win it, and Florida hasn't won a series in 25 years. Yep. And for whatever reason, I decided, hey, this year is going to be the year, and those 25 years that they actually win a series, and shockingly enough, they didn't.
You know when they're going to win their next series? Against my friggin' team. Yeah. The moment they play Tampa in the playoffs, I guarantee. Remember this: my clairvoyancy is off the charts right now. When the Florida Panthers play the Tampa Bay Lightning in the playoffs, they will beat them. You heard it here first.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, if that ever does end up happening, but the Islanders were obviously the better team. I don't know why. I don't know why. I mean, Florida. With their scoring prowess in the regular season, I thought maybe, but the Islanders are a much better coached team, a better structured team. They don't have the star power maybe that Florida has with Barkov and Huberdeau, and they have Barzal, who's good in his own right. But Bobrovsky, I thought played well. That which kind of surprised me. He usually doesn't play so well.
I thought he didn't play good enough, though. I thought he played good. But not like
obviously
no, he didn't play good
not
enough.
like he needed to play.
Yeah, but he wasn't.
He wasn't bad like he was in the season.
He wasn't the reason why they lost any of those games.
In the regular season, he looked awful.
They couldn't score. Shorts, you got anything on Bob?
No, it's just I saw a bunch of the series, because of Kelly, so I tuned into it. Same kind of thoughts. Bobrovsky could have done more, and he should have done more. And that was going to be the key. If Florida was going to get through, it was going to be because Bobrovsky did better. So I'm not shocked there. The Islanders are, they've got good players, and they've got a good coach behind the bench. So
I think that's the main thing there. They're so well coached, that team, and
they
all
are.
Those players buy into it. So it's they're a pain. They're a pain in the ass, and but they have some skill and they get the job done.
Yeah, and they've been here before. Last year they did well in the first round and they blew it in the second round. So it's not like they don't have playoff experience, which goes a long way, especially because they didn't really have a high turnover of players from last year's team to this year's team. So that was also to their benefit. They'd been there before, and they knew what it took to get in there. It's just a matter of seeing what happens in the next round for them. And then as far as Leafs and Columbus, I loved the fact that Columbus blew a 3-goal lead in about 2.5 minutes to lose in overtime, because I really needed to see a Torts post-game press conference like that. We were sorely missing that. It just seemed like for that series, Toronto was just sleepwalking, and Columbus came out hot. They were a good pick for the people that like to gamble. They were a pretty solid pick to win a period for you. And at some point in that game, they would come out heavy and strong, and it may only be winning a period 1-0, but you got to think part of that is fear of what Tortorella was going to say in the locker room afterwards. And so I have not looked at the bracket yet. Who do they play next?
So Blue Jackets get the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Okay, so
rematch.
Here's what I think. All right, so here's what I think needs to be done. one of the Tampa Bay newspapers, and I said this last night, one of the Tampa Bay media outlets needs to hire Larry Brooks as a freelance reporter just to cover this series.
Yep.
Just to be in those post-game and the pre-game press conferences and ask him questions.
Just annoy the shit out of Torts.
Tortorella, get him off his game. I like it.
Oh man, that's great. Yeah.
That's
Torts,
really
those two, their relationship is fantastic. So, yeah, we talked about it. Korpisalo had 2 shutouts, which was the first 2.
He was
Columbus.
phenomenal.
Matthews, I thought actually had a great series. He had 2 goals, 4 assists, 27 shots, which led the league in the first, those first series. We talked about it. Marner looked nowhere, and then Tavares was snake bit the whole time. Hits the post. He hits another post. He kept getting robbed. Their offense just let up, even though I thought they played pretty decent defense. And then the other thing I thought was pretty good.
Great.
He was average.
It wasn't great. He needed to be better, and he wasn't great. And they need him.
That one goal they let up to the rookie. That was in the last game.
Goal. Yeah,
that was bad.
Foudy.
Yeah. Although I liked him, I thought he played pretty well. He was
he was all
surprisingly all over the place. Yeah.
Him and the kid from Philly, Abe, whatever. They both looked pretty good.
Mm-hmm. I really think the only time that you saw what Toronto could be is in that last 3 minutes of the fourth game.
Yeah.
When they came back from 3-0. Like that is the Toronto. Yeah. That is the Toronto that you should see every game with that roster.
Yep.
But the problem was that version was only there for 3 minutes.
Yep. Who gets them there though? They obviously they need a coach that
defense.
can get them there. They do. I mean, they need some things too, but there's no reason for them to be this bad consistently in the playoffs and to always bow out in the same exact way every single season.
They underachieve every single playoff.
Yeah.
Yes. I don't know if it's pressure of the Toronto media or
they're under a lot of pressure. That it's like the team I think has the most pressure on them.
Yeah,
out of any team in the league.
And that's why I thought they would do well in this playoff run. And that's why I thought they would do well in this playoff run because they didn't have those distractions there. They didn't have the Toronto fans on their back the entire time. They were able to be closed off. They weren't going to be walking around town and potentially running into fans or reporters or this and that. Like I thought it was set up for them to do very well because those distractions could be limited.
I think they had just the unfortunate. They were just unfortunately matched against Columbus. I think that was part. I think that it was a good warm-up series for them, and I think a lot of these qualifying rounds were kind of warm-up series. Even the round robin for the top 4 teams were just kind of warm-up games before anybody can really get to their game. And you saw glimpses of it with Toronto, but I think Columbus or the Islanders, if they matched up against either of those teams, it would have been just bad for Toronto because both of those teams, their style of play just bottles up teams with that kind of skill and just frustrates them. And it's an all-cat podcast.
It's a very cat-friendly podcast.
I should get Mac and Minnie down here and they can bark at the screen.
They won't even know what this is. Do you even ever show your face, Melvin?
I showed them before. I grabbed them
for a ball. But I mean, obviously the Leafs have a lot to do. I think they either have to trade Marner or if they have to trade Nylander and get some defensive help in there. I think that's a big thing
because some of those star players package them out for something else.
And having the 2 centers down, 1 and 2 in Tavares and Matthews. I mean, you see with the Penguins, they can take a lot of different people and put them in between Malkin and Crosby, and you see effectiveness. You don't necessarily need a Kessel. Connor Sheary's had a pretty good. He didn't have a great series here, but Connor Sheary looked pretty good this year. Gensel as drawn off of both Malkin and Crosby. Hornquist. You go down the list. There's plenty of guys that you can match with these guys that they'll make them better. So maybe that's
superstars. Look at Penguins and Crosby. You have Kunitz and Pascal Dupuis who. Yeah. Beyond the being matched with Crosby, we're just kind of average, maybe third line guys. Kunitz had, checking forward status and turned him into a 30-40 goal scorer. And they don't need those they just need chemistry. They don't need superstars on the wings too. There is such, I think it's such thing as too much skill conflicts with each other. You have too many guys who have. too many guys who just, they're kind of almost the center of attention on offense, and the chemistry just isn't kind of there. Complementary players can typically be better, but
they all want the puck, and they all are guys that can control the puck. Matthews and Marner and Tavares all skate the puck in. So sometimes it's too much, but we'll get now into the two big series for the East: Penguins, Canadians, and Hurricanes, Rangers. Let's do your Pen, Steve, first, because obviously series notes. Canadians won the series 3-1. I had that. We said the whole time Jari should have been in the net. Paul Byron and Shea Weber had 4 points each. Crosby with 3 points led their respective teams. And then my last note was Malkin and Letang were unnoticeable. What do you guys?
Letang was noticeable. Letang was noticeable,
but in a bad way.
In a bad way, yeah.
Well,
he was,
sorry.
I was exaggerating in Game 4 there when I said he had 38 turnovers, but I think he led the team in turnovers, I believe.
What's sad is that I actually believed you. I thought that was a real stat.
It's not that far fetched.
That would have been.
Right?
That would have been.
It was believable. I believed. I thought it was believable because
it seemed like it was just over and over again. He was just throwing, and he's another one that I don't know where. And it seems to be, you see it in the regular season, but it seems to be in the playoffs, he's just a turnover machine, especially the last few years. But Melvin's not having any of this. My problem, so the crazy thing about this series is that you break down Game 1, Penguins won Game 2, and break down Game 3, and Pittsburgh could have swept this series. I don't think there's much reason why they should have lost either of the two games that they lost there. Game 4, it looked like they didn't even want to be there, and you can break down, and I'll fault a lot of the players. Obviously, I won't even get into it. Jari should have started from the beginning. Murray wasn't great. I don't put the full blame on him for the losses, but he certainly didn't help the situation. Jari probably should have started. Jari played excellent in Game 4. He's probably the only one besides Patrick Hornquist who showed up to play. But I think this is another year where you see Mike Sullivan get out-coached again. And last year against the Islanders, he got out-coached by Barry Trotz and had no solution for anything that Barry Trotz threw at him. And I think Claude Julien is a similar coach in his mentality and how he counters Pittsburgh's system. And by the time they got to Game 4, they were so frustrated. It just looked like they didn't care in the slightest bit. The skill that they're so used to showing on a game-to-game basis, just they're not able to do it because they're just bottled up, and it's easy to frustrate that team. And then you see them out in 4 games. But it's going to be an interesting off season because you have players like even Sidney Crosby saying that the window is closing. But it's a hard realization for a Penguins fan to come to the realization that you're witnessing the end of an era. This is, reminiscent of mid to late 90s Penguins when Lemieux and Jagr and, the rest of the team and getting a supporting cast and just kind of seeing them bow out in the playoffs when they had, some promise to make a run. I think you're seeing that now. And I think Mike Sullivan's system is becoming a little stale as far as in 2016, 2017, those runs, that was the thing. You wanted those fast teams that could just run all over these other teams. And people saw that model and they developed a system to counter that model. And now it doesn't work. And I don't think Sullivan has a solution for that.
Yeah, finally it's not the Rangers that got that music.
Yeah. So this is I was having with my good friend Jeff Turner before we were having a little debate about Jim Rutherford and what he's done over these years and not mortgaging the future, giving away first-round picks to try and win now, because every season it was win now, win now, win now, which I agreed with Rutherford because you're the Malkin and Crosby, Letang are in their 30s now, so it's like this is when you have to win because you're running out of time with them to kind of carry the team. But now I think we've reached that point where now they need to look into the future and they don't really have any pieces at all. So, the number one pick, winning the number one pick today would have been a great start for that, but obviously that didn't happen.
The Rangers had other plans.
But it's going to be interesting. I think this offseason for Pittsburgh is going to be very busy. Especially goaltending, obviously, defensive pieces. You might see some players shipped out. You might even see a player bought out, which would be the first time in Penguins history. And with this flat cap now, who's going to happen? Apparently there was whispers. I think Nick Kyprios or something was whispering about a mega deal between Pittsburgh and Toronto and goaltenders, but I'm not taking any of that seriously.
For what, Koskinen?
I think no, for Freddie Anderson. There was something about a Freddie Anderson, Matt Murray trade. Edmonton. Edmonton. I'm sorry, Toronto.
I thought you said Toronto. Right. You said Edmonton.
Oh, yeah, I meant Toronto. I don't know what I said.
Oh, I thought you said Toronto.
I thought you said Toronto.
I thought you said Toronto also.
Well, I'm going to go with I said Toronto because that's what I thought.
Okay, fine.
Anyway, so there was that. I'm not going to don't take that rumor too seriously because that's just whispers. Who knows what that's going to happen? But I do think answering Kevin Dean there, I do think Sullivan is on the hot seat depending on how they start this next season. And I don't necessarily think it's his fault. I just think he's obviously can't spark this team to perform in the playoffs anymore.
Lately, at least.
And you saw it happen with Bilesma. And Ray Shero hung on to Bilesma for way too long and wasted way too much.
Oh, sounds familiar.
Yeah,
sounds
wasted
so
way too much in
familiar.
Malkin and Crosby's prime there. But we'll see. We'll see what there needs to be a lot of transactions. They do have now the 15th overall pick in this draft, which they can give to Minnesota if they want to. So they can hang on to this pick and pick at number 15, or they can give this to Minnesota now and hang on to their first-round pick next year. So if they hang on to 15 this year, Minnesota gets their first-round pick next year.
I was going to ask that because AJ asked that on Twitter.
I assume they're going to hang on to this one because they'll probably make the playoffs next season. So it'll probably be a higher pick than 15. Just guessing. I mean, anything could happen, especially watching them in the playoffs today. Well, I mean, they could underperform and miss, but yeah, I mean, San
Jose could have given their pick last year. Instead, they give it this year, and it turned out to be a top 5 pick.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. Well.
So you would assume, but who knows? I think they have 7 days to choose whether or not they're going to keep this pick or give it to Minnesota. But my money's on them keeping it. They need first-round picks. This is a deep draft, so I think they should hang on to it this year. And see what happens next year. But it's going to be a busy offseason. Rutherford, I know Jeff Turner was wondering if we're going to fire Rutherford. I don't think so. I think Rutherford's going to be there for a while. I don't think he's going anywhere. Sullivan could be on the hot seat. I agree with some of those statements too.
I think if they start next season like really shitty, really bad, you think they maybe pull the plug on Sullivan?
They could, but they really need to shake up the roster. There's going to be a shake up in the roster this season. And if next season starts shaky, obviously they can't completely uproot the roster again. So obviously the only other choice is to get rid of the coach. So it's a possibility to see how they start next season. But disappointing series to say the least.
Yeah, it's tough. Schwim, Shorts guy, you got anything? Yeah, sorry, Shorts.
I was gonna say I think one thing that's got to be noted from that Penguin series is the play of Carey Price. I think he was a difference maker for Montreal. I mean, in the 4 games, you guys played, you lost the first one with 41 shots on goal, and he let in 2. He let in 3 in your win on 38 shots on goal, which is still not bad. You sound like Bone Storm shot totals.
We're in the high 70s.
I think he let in 2, Shorts guy. I think the third one was an empty netter.
High 70s, low 80s are shots on goal.
I was just looking at final scores real quick. Your 4th game was 33 shots on goal. You guys lost, and then you lost 2-0 that last one with 22 shots on goal. I think in your last game, that was a real unlucky goal that Montreal, took the lead with towards the very end. And unfortunately, though, when you're in a hole like that and you're on the brink of elimination, those unlucky goals can kill you. And that's what I think that unlucky goal was. And you had shots, but I think Carey Price. I feel like Carey Price came out to prove something. Yeah. In this play-in round, and he looked fantastic. He got lucky a couple times, but when you're playing well and you have confidence, you're going to get those lucky bounces. And he was playing damn well. He got those bounces, and I think he is a huge reason why Montreal is moving on and the Penguins are not. I agree with you. I think Matt Murray should not have after that first game. He should have been out. But you know what? It's neither here nor there because they chose not to do it. So. I think they made that move way too late. They should have made that
too late. Too little, too late. Yeah, I agree with Game 2. It should have been. I know Matt Murray played very well in Game 2 and won that game, but I think Tristan Jarry should have gotten the call in Game 2 after that loss to Montreal in Game 1.
Yeah.
Because
Murray
wasn't great. He wasn't awful, but he wasn't great. And he's Sullivan's guy. So, but I think we did see. I think we've seen Matt Murray play his last game in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, Price's numbers are quickly 3-1, 3 wins, 1 loss, 167 goals against average, and a 947 save percentage. So I mean,
that's really good.
Yeah, that's
pretty.
Against the Penguins too. That's really good
against a high-powered offense. Yeah.
Yep. All right. Unless you guys have anything else to do. Oh, sorry.
I was just gonna say, Carey Price is a good goaltender, and he showed it, and he's going towards the end of his career, so he really wants to win.
Yeah.
This could be one of the last chances he has to win. Yeah.
Yeah, him and Shea. Yeah. All right, let's go to the fun one. Canes Rangers 3-0 sweep. Schwim obviously brought the broom out.
It ruined it for me.
The better team.
It doesn't really matter. Yeah. This series doesn't really matter anymore.
Yeah.
Nope.
Well, yes.
No.
For me, obviously, I turned a very sad moment into a very happy moment. So.
Yep. Mystery injury, putting in the old vet.
Injury.
Let's get into this. So my
can't get a win.
Right? Yeah, true. Yeah, the better team won. Obviously, I think Carolina. We all think was the better team, right? Sebastian Aho had his coming out party on the national stage. 8 points, 3 goals, 5 assists. I mean that goal he had against the Rangers in Game 3, where he just undressed Tony DeAngelo, fell on his knees, and then roofed it over Shesterkin, who's our goaltender, our future savior. Svechnikov with his first hattie, 3 goals, 2 assists. Reimer. So this is where it starts to get weird, right? So the first 2 games Mrazek starts. The third game, Reimer, they put him in. Obviously, hasn't played in a while. He gets the start, which is odd because if the Rangers do come back and win that game, then all of a sudden you took out your goalie that had the run and he was doing well. Mrazek was playing well, and you take him out, and now kind of because you just wanted this Reimer to get some work in, but Hurricanes obviously get a tough draw. For any of their top 4, they'll be a tough draw because of their top 4 defense and also with their depth at center. I mean they're loaded. So, but yeah, like Shorts guy was saying, obviously Hank started the first 2 games. And, in that third game, which was a back-to-back from Game 2, Igor Shesterkin was unfit to play those first 2 games, didn't even dress as a backup, and then they come in and they put him in Game 3, and he looked fine. He didn't look like he was injured. Who knows what the hell happened, but obviously that's very weird, and it doesn't make sense for Rangers.
If I had a clothespin, I'd put it on my nose right now because something stinks. Something's not right.
Yep.
Yeah.
How are you all of a sudden? How do you go from not even dressing to being the starting goaltender in a day, in less than 24 hours?
I was telling you, how does ownership and management try to throw a series in order to have a chance at the number 1 overall pick? Sit your number 1 goaltender and say that he's hurt?
Yep.
Right, Melvin?
Melvin agrees.
They could have done that, and they would have been fine if they had left him out the entire series. But once you put him in Game 3 on a back-to-back, which that doesn't make sense. So you're saying less than 24 hours later, this guy's capable to start when he was injured and couldn't even dress in Game 2?
No,
that's the weird
thing. Something's definitely weird.
Injured.
I mean, I don't think anybody's purposely throwing any games. I'm obviously.
If anyone was, it was the Rangers.
It's very strange. It's very strange, and it certainly looks suspicious that Shesterkin is there, through camp, through the exhibition. He's going to be the starter. There's slight argument that maybe Hank should because it's his last hurrah, but nobody's actually serious about that because Shesterkin is just, better. And then Game 1 comes around, and he's not even a backup. Game 2 comes around, he's not even a backup. Just all of a sudden, he's just that hurt where he can't even dress. It's strange. It's certainly strange. a little bit fishy maybe, but who knows really? But I don't think. I can't imagine they were doing it to throw the series.
Yeah,
I
don't
can
think so
imagine it.
either. No,
I can imagine it.
You know, stranger things have
even
happened.
so-
but
even so, right? Hank
Hank's
wants
not
to win.
guaranteed. Hank's not guaranteed to lose a series. It's not like you're
Yeah.
putting in an AHL guy who's had
Has no experience.
half a career start in the NHL. This is a guy that has had success in the playoffs, success in the regular season, Vezina
Success against the
Trophy winner.
Canes.
Yeah,
And that was the
so
big
I
thing,
mean,
right?
it's not. I wouldn't think so. It's just weird to me. Just weird.
Yeah.
By the way, I
I mean-
think it's pronounced Shostorkin because that's how you spell it in Russian.
Yeah, but
So you might
I think
need to check on the
he says,
pronunciation of that.
Shosturkin.
There's gonna be some sort of right pronunciation coming out soon, just like Yoel Armia.
Yeah. All of a sudden,
Armia.
All of a sudden, it's
Oh,
not
yeah.
It's
Joel
Joel.
Armia
it's not Joel.
anymore.
It's Yoel.
Or Yoel. So
Actually,
us ignorant
you know what?
Americans can't say names right.
Actually, you want to know what? We
I'm one of
can. We may be able to check on that with friend of the Let's Go Devils podcast, Kevin Clark, the PA announcer for the Devils. We can actually kind of check with what he has on his notes. Because he has
Good.
the official word from the league and sometimes the players. So, Sam, if
I
you
feel
want
like
to,
EJ Raddick continuously calls him Shostorkin. And I don't know if he's in on
Well,
something, but
Listen, Rangers lost. They were beaten by the better team, and we still come out smelling like roses because we get the number one pick. So,
yeah.
David Ayers was available to play for you guys.
Yeah.
yeah,
You might as well just put him
but
in.
he can only
Yeah,
beat
right.
the Leafs. He can only beat the Leafs.
That's
Well,
true.
he's gonna-
Have we watched Henrik Lundqvist play his last game as a Ranger?
God, I hope not.
I
but
think so.
just listen, we'll get into this obviously in future, because there's gonna be a lot of stuff to go on too. Let's but I mean, I hope not. But and I heard Shorts guy's bullshit take yesterday about how he thinks he's gonna be a Devil. No way in hell.
No. I don't think that's going to happen.
No, I know.
I would
I know.
allow it to happen. I'd be
Well, of
okay with
course
that
you would.
happening.
And for him to win the cup with the Devils, I would die. No, that would be the worst thing possible.
He's going to win a cup with the Devils at the ripe age of
Berdor coming
47.
over to the 90 Rangers and winning a cup then. You guys would be furious.
You're right.
Oh, man.
That's why I brought it up. That's why I
Oh,
suggested
God.
it.
How many people do you think that would kill if Lundqvist went to
Oh.
the Devils and won a cup with the Devils?
Major
How many
heart
people
attacks.
would drop dead?
Major heart
Major
attack.
heart attacks, coronary artery.
Next
Yeah.
season, Lundqvist
Oh my
goes to the
God.
Devils and beats the Rangers
Oh
in
my
the Eastern
God.
In the
Conference
playoffs?
Finals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Oh yeah.
That would be
Oh my
great. That'd be
God.
pretty great.
That
would be
would be
must-see TV.
fantastic.
I mean, you could teach Blackwood how to play goalie. So
Yeah. I mean,
That's a good point. That's a good point.
all right.
I mean,
so
Blackwood does need someone that can teach him whether or not it's gonna be Corey Snyder. Who knows? Steven, I got a goal. The Devils got a goalie for Pittsburgh if you want.
Corey Schneider.
yeah.
He's got great flow. Did you guys notice his flow?
Yeah,
on
I saw it on was it NBC?
No, I didn't
Yeah.
see it. I didn't see
Speaking of-
that.
Yeah,
and
it
at
was
playoff-
nice.
These playoff flows. Although I am disappointed with some of them, like in the middle of these qualifying series, just deciding to go get a haircut. It's been a little disappointing.
Yeah, that's dumb.
But,
Yeah.
Gotta let it go.
There's been some nice flows.
Some
I'm still
beards.
up on Duncan Keats. Duncan Keats
Yeah,
might
he's
be
got
my
good.
favorite
Yep.
at the moment.
It's great. Yeah, I mean, Miko looked pretty good. Yeah, there's a Nylander because that is like straight hair. But, yeah, but
That's straight
you look
Swedish hair.
This
some of these.
This is one of those things where you really wish that Joe Thornton would have been on a team
Yes.
somewhere in this playing
Yes.
round because his beard would have
Be like
just been
down here.
glorious.
Yeah,
It
Or
would have
Brent
been
Burns.
He'd
glorious.
be like down to his waist. That'd be
yeah,
great.
yeah.
but
Yeah,
yeah,
Tying
he's
it
a
up
top
around
end.
his head.
obviously, some good mustaches that have been fantastic. But
Austin Matthews continuously is just like
yeah,
channeling that 70s.
He loves that porn
stuff.
yeah,
stash.
Oh yeah,
Even,
Oh, he does.
even in his wardrobe
Yeah.
with his
Yeah.
turtlenecks and he's,
Yep. Oh, he is.
that man is fantastic.
Yeah, he wears some great stuff. But all right, so let's get to the West real fast. We'll go Oilers Blackhawks. Obviously, 3-1. Blackhawks take the series. Both goalies I thought were terrible in this series.
Mhm.
Yeah, Crawford isn't bad. Or are you
That was
talking
the
about
fir-
Edmonton's?
Edmonton.
Both. No,
Their
but
goals were awful.
even Corey Crawford.
Crawford
up
was
to-
okay.
But his
was
numbers,
shaky at times.
and I wrote it down.
He was shaky. Yeah, he was very shaky at times.
His numbers, I have it right here. Corey Crawford's numbers in the series were 367 goals against average and 898 save percentage. I mean, it was atrocious. Both of them were just bad.
What were Mike Smith's numbers?
What
were Mike Smith's
numbers? Not good. He had 11 goals against average and like a 700 save percentage.
Wow.
Yeah, but Corey Crawford went from what was he? Medically ineligible or whatever they were calling that.
Yeah.
And then
COVID.
eligible.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then to eligible, and then not for nothing, Edmonton's got a high-powered offense. Yeah. So as much as those numbers don't look very good, some of those games were just such run-and-gun games that, could he have done better? Absolutely, he could have done better, but, that offense he was going up against, it's a high-powered offense.
Yeah, my next note is Connor McDavid is hands down the best player in the league, and I don't even think it's questionable. He had 9 points, 5 goals, 4 assists. Yep. His first playoff hat trick in Game 2. So now Game 2 is what I'm basing this on, because if you watch the Game 2, it's one of the models for watching a player just at the utmost best that he can be. So he looked dominant all series. That first goal he has in Game 2, right? He bats out of midair. The puck I think where shot on goal was deflected. It goes up in the air. As it's coming down, he bats it out of midair, bar down, top shelf, and scores. So you're like, wow, that was amazing. Then he comes around, and his second goal is even better. He bats it out of midair to control it, then pretty much juggles the puck past Olimata, speeds by him, and then on the backhand roofs it for his second goal. And then obviously his third goal is deflected off two defenders. But, that's what great players do. They make plays. So they'll have – they'll make a goal, a shitty one, and they don't care. I mean, he gets a hat trick, and he just looked ridiculous.
Blowing past Olimata is no feat.
Well, Steven knows that pain all too well.
Right, so let's not. Can I interject? Can I interject with goalie stats here, because this is blowing my mind that in these qualifying rounds with these teams, somehow Mike Smith is the 35th ranked goalie in these qualifying and round robin games. I didn't even know 35 goalies were playing, but apparently they were. And Mike Smith was the 35th ranked with .783 save percentage and 11.31 goals against.
So guys that didn't even start, or guys that weren't even dressed, were ranked ahead of him.
But no, every other goalie played some time.
Oh my
At least
God.
Sometime, right?
Wait, it includes the round robin too? It includes the round robin too?
The round robin also, yes.
Oh, okay. So there you go.
I didn't even know 35
when
goals.
you let
Are there I have more
when
than
you let a butt goal in, when you let a butt goal in like he did,
no,
oh my God,
he's the lowest ranked goal in the entire tournament.
Not quite as glorious as the butt fumble, but that butt goal was called by Schwim, and that play was called by Schwim. But
we'll go through these a little.
He can be good, and he's got great puck handling skills, but he looked awful.
We'll go through these next ones a little quicker, just because we do want to get to our matchups coming up, because obviously playoffs start first round starts Tuesday.
Tomorrow.
I just had tomorrow. RNH with 8 points. Draisaitl with 6 points. I thought he was quiet. The offense was there. The D in goal was not. And then obviously Chicago had the firepower too. Taves had 7 points, and then Kubalik had 6. So Oilers were just beaten by a better team, and their goalies stunk. So that Preds Coyotes series, Coyotes win 3-1.
Such
Kemper
bad
was awesome.
memories.
Yeah,
Kemper was
great.
awesome. Such bad memories with that emotionless clown behind the bench.
Yep. Johansson and Forsberg each had 5 points. Keller, OEL, Taylor Hall, Kessel, and Yossi all had 4 points as well. Saros was good and bad. Obviously, you saw some bad goals in that first game. But Arizona has a good young squad, so we'll see how that plays out in the next round.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Canucks Wild. Stalock was impressive. Besser was our MVP, obviously, for the podcast, friend of the podcast, Brock Besser.
Yeah.
3 points, but he was buzzing. He was buzzing the whole time. So Jacob Markstrom, 227 goals against, 926 save percentage. Quinn Hughes had 6 points. Eric Stahl had 5. The rest of the guys did pretty well. One of the big notes, obviously, Mika Koivu. First of all, Suter got hurt, and we'll see how that goes. It might actually go into next season. That's how they're classifying it. And then Mika Koivu, he's going to be a UFA, and was this his last game in Minnesota, which is he's had a great career. So we'll see. He's been there 15 years, so pretty good stuff.
Yeah,
I think he's out.
probably out.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially with this flat cap that's coming around, and especially with Minnesota needing to get young and rebuild. And
well, he was their
unfortunately,
fourth
he's
line
not part of that.
center. He was their fourth line center, and usually you require, that fourth line center is a defensive reliability, and he's not really that player anymore. So do you really want him taking up a spot on the third line when you can have young players? So it's tough.
I don't
Obviously,
think so.
he's been a great Finn, and we'll see where he goes from here.
I love
last
Mikko
series, which we both said, everyone on this podcast said that they wish it had gone 5 games, was the Flames Jets. Obviously, those Scheifele and Laine. Flames win 3-1. Obviously, the Scheifele and Laine injuries really affected the Jets. The Flames took advantage. They had 4 goals per game, 11 different goal scorers. Sean Monahan had 6 points. Just too much depth for Calgary, and I thought that the Jets ran out of steam after Game 2.
I think that losing Scheifele completely deflated that team. They were they were toast.
It was huge.
You didn't see a whole lot of fight out of Winnipeg. I thought you'd see more, but
yeah, I thought that would have been a closer series. But
yeah, I picked Winnipeg. I didn't think Calgary. I didn't think it would be that easy for Calgary, and apparently it was.
No.
So here we are.
Game 2, Scheifele. Game 2, Ehlers played well, and they had gas, and it looked like they were going to put up a dogfight, but they kind of fell off. So, just in the round robin, Flyers went 3-0 to win the first overall seed. Lightning went 2-1 to get second. Capitals were 1-1 for third place, and then the Bruins were 0-3. Bruins said that they're not worried about it, but that's that is unnerving when you're a team.
They shouldn't be.
No, they shouldn't be worried
it's still you want to get going and you want to get
good.
strong, and you would hope that these games would build to something.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to put
series.
Canes in round 1, but I wouldn't be too worried with what happened in the round robin, because they could have lost every game 8-0 and they can still win the Stanley Cup. So
true.
In the end, it doesn't matter. You still have to beat good teams to win the Stanley Cup. So it doesn't really matter who they match up against. So now they had their little warm up. I still think Boston's going to do some damage, unfortunately. But I'm not too worried about these standings here.
In the West, the Knights went 3-0 for first place. Avalanche 2-1 for second. Stars went 1-2 in third, and Blues fell to 0-2-1 for fourth place. Injury updates, and we'll get at this more when we get into the actual matchup analysis for the round 1. But Stamkos and Hedman, obviously Schwim will talk about the Bolts in a second. You can talk about that. But Suter, I discussed, missed Game 4 with his foot injury. And then Boychuk and Hamilton are expected back for Game 1 for the Islanders and the Carolina Hurricanes. So, all right, matchup analysis. Let's get to it. First series in the East: Flyers Canadiens. In the regular season, Flyers took the Canadiens 2-1 in the series matchup. It's a weird series, obviously. I think the two biggest players in this are Hart and Price, right? Hart was top 10 in goals against average and save percentage in the regular season. Price, obviously, with those awesome numbers in the playoffs. The Habs are playing with house money. Two pretty good, interesting numbers. Philly on the power play is 0-11 in the round robin. Habs were 0-12 in the qualifying rounds. So those power plays were the two worst coming into this series, and obviously they play each other now.
Montreal's power play
wasn't Columbus like 0 for
Montreal's power play, for winning a series without scoring a power play goal, and their power play was, 0 for 12, but deservingly 0 for 12. Was hard to watch. That power play is bad, really bad. I don't know. I don't think they're going to be able to get away with that in this next round.
My X factors are Kevin Hayes and Jesperi Kotkaniemi. He had 2 goals. Hayes obviously was playing really well. If those two get going, they'll be difference makers in the series. But you guys got anything else on this series? I would think for me, I'm probably going to take Flyers in 6. Shorts guy, you want to give predictions? Or Schwim?
Yeah. I'll go prediction first and then analysis second. I got Philly in 6 also. I think they're too much. They look again, those round robin games, I don't know if you can judge, Philly looked really good. Boston didn't look good. I think it's all, again, it doesn't matter. But Philly looked pretty good. I think they're going to be too much for Montreal. Montreal might steal a game or 2, so that's why I put in 6. But yeah, Philly looked pretty good. They looked like a pretty complete team. They had good goaltending. Their defense was good. Their offense was good, but it was kind of weird. Like there was no Giroux didn't like really do much. Voracek I think was out for a game or two, and Hayes was okay. All their other role players were the guys scoring goals for them. So when you have all that secondary scoring, I think that's bodes well for your team. So I like the way I thought they actually looked pretty good. So that's why I'm going to go Montreal in 6 also.
Montreal or Philly?
I'm sorry, Philly in 6.
Okay.
My fault.
So.
Thank you, guy.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of this is dependent upon. I don't think, to be completely honest with you, I don't think Montreal played that great against Pittsburgh. I just think they needed to play a certain way, and they did, and they just were successful, just kind of outscoring them in a low scoring game. And like you said, Dean, they have nothing to lose here, so it's kind of like whatever. We're not expected to do a damn thing, so let's just go out and play. Nobody's expecting us to beat anybody. I think that might be able to get them a little bit in this round, maybe. And of course, predicting anything right now, hesitant to predict anything because of how poorly I did in the last round.
We all did bad, so don't listen to what we say. Yeah, don't listen to what things we say.
I'm finding it hard not to pick Philadelphia in 4 because they're so much better of a team, and I think they're currently probably better coached than Pittsburgh, just because what's his name?
Julian?
Vigneault.
No, Vigneault. Because Vigneault is new. He's fresh. he's got the locker room buying into his system. So I think that, and I think Vigneault can be outcoached, and Julian could be the one who outcoaches Vigneault. But I think he's got the team behind him right now. It's not like a stale voice in the locker room where they're just kind of used to the same old, and they're just like, yeah, whatever. But to keep it short and sweet, I think we all know what the X factors are in this series. Carey Price, obviously, and Philadelphia. I think Hart probably, but I'll say Philadelphia in 5 just to be safe. And I really want to say 4, but maybe Montreal sneaks up on them once. But I think this is going to be a dominated series. I think Philadelphia is too bought into everything here, and I don't think they're going to get overwhelmed by a much worse team in Montreal.
Show us what do you got?
Listening to all your analysis and trying to figure out, it's to me this series is going to come down to goaltending.
Yep.
Because watching Carter Hart play in the round robin games I was able to catch, Carter Hart looks phenomenal. The only thing with Carter Hart is he's never been he's young, so he doesn't have that experience. I also think that on the Canadian side, I think you have Carey Price, who's got something to prove, and you guys are all correct that they are playing with house money. You know what though? Something is just. I'm going with my gut here, and I'm going to say Canadiens in 6. I think it's going to come down to goaltending. I think that if the Canadiens can get to Hart, and he may not be able to handle the pressure at such a young age, I think Carey Price. I thought his play against Pittsburgh I thought he played really well. I think he can potentially put the team on his back and say, "Let's go, I got this." Now, whether or not that can last for a full cup run, beyond this round, I'm not quite so sure. But I think that the Canadiens can kind of take their, can kind of continue this and at least make it into the next round. So I'm going to go Canadiens in 6.
Pretty good stuff.
All right.
So let's hold off on the Lightning because I want it to be one of the last ones. I know they're the 2 seed, but let's go to Capitals Islanders. They were 2-2 in the season series. Obviously, revenge series, which we talked about. Trotz versus the Caps. Offense versus defense. Carlson status is unknown. He had 0 games in the round robin. Ovi had no points, so we'll obviously hope that he gets back on track. Holtby in the round robin had a 198 goals against, a 925 save percentage. Varlamov had a 177 and 932 in his qualifying round. The X factors for me are Kuznetsov on that second line, and then Jordan Eberle, who had 3 points. I thought he looked pretty good. If they can get that second line rolling, it takes a lot off of that Barzal line. So that's what I got. I would take. I'm going to take Capitals in 6.
I'm going to go, Dean. I'm going to go opposite of you, and Jeff Turner. Hopefully, you're still listening. I'm taking the Islanders in 6. I think X factors. I mean, you can break down whatever player, whatever goalie. I think this is coach on coach. I think Barry Trotz is a better coach, and I'm not going to bet against him this time like I did in the last round. And I don't think Washington is as strong as we're used to seeing them. And we talk about the end of an era in Pittsburgh, and I think we're approaching that in Washington also. So I think I'm going to keep it short and keep the Islanders in 6 because Barry Trotz has his team firing and playing well. So there we go.
Shorts guy.
I'm going to go Islanders in 5 because a couple of the Caps games that I caught, they just did not. The Capitals did not look impressive at all.
They didn't look good.
And Holtby is obviously a lot of my analysis is going to be goaltending centric, but I just didn't think Holtby is a good goalie, but I don't know if he's got enough support there to help him out like he's going to need. I think Varlamov can do a lot better with the team he has in front of him, and that's why I'm going to go Islanders in 5.
Schwim?
5. I like it. I bet against Jeff Turner once. I'm not going to make that same mistake.
Wow. I'm the only one taking the Caps.
Yeah, I'm taking the Islanders, but I'm doing the Islanders in 7. I think it's going to be a pretty good series, but I don't know. I just like the Islanders as a playoff team more so than the Caps this year. I watched some of the games of the round robin for the Caps, and they did not look good. The Islanders look good, albeit against Florida, but they look good. And again, Trotz, I think, knows how to coach in these situations, and he's like a playoff hockey coach that you want. You want him coaching your playoff team. Goaltending. I worry about Washington's goaltending only because if something happens to Holtby, they have nobody.
Yeah.
Samsonov's hurt. They're I don't even know who their friggin' backup is actually.
It's Curtis McElhinney.
No, he's on Tampa.
Oh, he's on Tampa. Oh, whoops.
Yeah.
And if he gets
Great
if
analysis.
he gets blown out, if he gets blown out, there's nothing there to replace him with.
Yeah, I know you can't you have to go right back to him. So you're not going to start this other kid, whoever the hell he is, if he gets blown out in a game. So yeah, I'm going Islanders.
Not for nothing. If the Caps need a backup, I don't have much going on over the next couple of weeks. So
this guy is available.
I am available, and a little bit of pad wrap, and my pads can be red, white with a little bit of blue trim.
It's Phoenix Copley. It's Phoenix Copley. By the way.
Phoenix Copley. That's right.
Copley, whatever. All right. Next series, Bruins Hurricanes. Bruins took the season series 1-0. This is obviously a conference finals match from last year. It's going to be a war. I think the Canes, will they be rusty after such a quick sweep of the Rangers? Yeah, that's great. Bruins top line obviously has the pedigree versus that Canes Hurricanes penalty kill. Dougie Hamilton will be back. Obviously, Vezina nominee in Tuukka Rask versus whatever combo of Mrazek Reimer they want to use. Sebastian Aho's actually had 20 points in 18 playoff games. Bruins have the best power play now that Edmonton's out, and the Canes aggressive forecheck. Obviously word on the Rangers, they hope to do that same thing against the Bruins. My X factors personally are Kasha, who's going to be in the series in the second round. In the first round technically, but the second round he had 1 primary assist versus the Capitals. I think he's X factor for the Bruins, and then Trocheck down the middle for the Canes. I'm gonna pull the upset. I'm going Hurricanes in 6.
Nice.
All right, I'm going to. I'll continue on with that. I like your breakdown of the series, so I'm not going to add much more to that. But I was teetering. It's going to go 7 games, and I was teetering back and forth on what it's going to be. But I'm going to take the Hurricanes in 7, and upsetting the Boston Bruins, the President Trophy Boston Bruins. Carolina looks great. They got a great squad. Boston hasn't looked great, but I think they're going to get better. I think they're going to do okay, and it pains me that I still think Boston could potentially take this series also in 7, but I think Carolina has more drive behind them. Boston has, they were just in the Cup last year. I'm sure they're hungry to get back again, but sometimes with these teams, just getting back is really difficult, and I think I'm going to take Carolina in 7.
Schwim?
I hate the Boston Bruins, so I'm obviously not picking them. But no, honestly though, I do. I actually hate them, but also I'm going with Carolina also just because I think they're a really good team. Like structurally, they're very good. Their defense is phenomenal. I think it's going to cause like the way the Bruins look right now. I think if they're going against a Carolina defense like that, they can shut down their top line pretty easily and get all their scoring from Aho and they got Dougie Hamilton coming back, that's a huge boost because he didn't play at all, right, in the Rangers series.
Yeah, him and Slavin together were one of the best pairs. Yeah.
So I think that's a huge boost for them. That helps them out even more. I'm going Carolina in 6.
Before Shorts Guy goes, we've talked about it, but Dougie Hamilton coming back. I mean, the guy was on Norris Trophy track when he got injured. He's one of the more underrated defensemen in this league, and the people that give him hate is amazing because he is such a great defenseman. And I wish I had him on the Rangers. I'm sure you three want him on any of your teams. So it's amazing that he gets that
too. Playing the team that drafted him, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's amazing that he gets so much hate. So, but Shorts Guy, what do you think?
I'm thinking. Although the Bruins didn't look great, I think they're going to come out on top of this in 6 games. I think that, as well as the Canes are playing, I think Tuukka Rask can turn it on when need be.
Yep.
And all I really care about, they have a huge advantage there, and they do have the better goalie, and the Canes have 2 very solid goaltenders that could play, but that kind of rotation could also, if they're going to go with, either or, I think it's pretty solid that you have Tuukka Rask in net for the Bruins. The Bruins just have a lot of experience. They've got a lot of good talent, and they've got a lot of players that can turn it on, and I feel like that they're going to turn it on in this series. Really, out of this series, I could care less who wins, just so long as, if the Bruins do go on to win in 6, I need Sammy Vatanen to play in at least 5 of those 6 games.
Very good. Good analysis.
This series is the first round of the playoffs, and I think this is going to be one of the best series in this entirety of this playoff.
It's going to be good, yeah.
It's going to be a dogfight, yeah. We did talk, obviously, those first 2 lines, if you think about the Bruins, obviously with Marchand, Pasternak, and Bergeron. And then that first line for the Canes with Aho, Teravainen, and Svechnikov. I mean, you're looking at 2 opposite sides of the coin. Older line on one side, obviously Pasternak's 23, and then this young up and coming line. I mean, and Aho had a great series defensively, so I could see him kind of pulling in that defensive awareness Bergeron role. It's going to be a really great series, so I'll be tuning into that definitely. All right, Schwim, let's go to your Lightning Blue Jackets. 1-0 in the series. It was an OT win for the Lightning season series. It's obviously a revenge. It's a battle of 2 teams that at least Lightning could put the puck in the net. If you're a team that wears blue, do not play the Columbus Blue Jackets because their 2 postseason series wins are against blue teams. So in Toronto, and just wear your black jerseys, Schwim.
It's a good idea. I might do that.
Yeah. Offense, even without Stammer, favors the Bolts. I mean, you guys have just depth up and down that lineup. Defense without Hedman, I think it favors Blue Jackets a little bit just because that top pair is so good. But Ryan McDonough could have a great series, and Shattenkirk hopefully pulls a rabbit out of his hat. Cernak, and you need Sergachev to really take a step up.
Yep.
We'll give you a little more, but obviously the goaltending matchup is awesome. Vasilevsky, who is Vezina candidate, as well as Korpisalo, who had the second highest goal save above average in this last series at 3.76. It was actually tremendously higher than Price's 2.7. Merzlikins obviously got hurt, so he might be out of this series. But my X factors, Tyler Johnson, because he needs to step up. He had 3 points in the series, but especially if Stammer's out, they need that secondary scoring. And then I have Oliver Bjorkstrand as that guy for Blue Jackets. They need secondary scoring because they're not going to be able to put up on a shootout. So I have your Lightning in 6.
Cool guy, thanks. That's it's like kind of bittersweet. I wanted them to play Columbus because one, obviously the revenge factor, but two, I didn't think they were playing all that great in the round robin game. So I think they lost. They have Stamkos is out. Everybody knows that, and we don't know when the hell he's coming back. And now Hedman just got friggin' hurt, and that was one of the worst nights of my life. I was so angry. I took it out on everybody. I apologize.
I wasn't there.
You went home for the first time, and his girlfriend actually watched him watch a hockey game for the first time, and I think that was when Hedman got hurt.
Of course, yeah. So she felt my wrath.
Scared the crap out of the poor girl.
No, but anyway, but they haven't announced that he's out. They're just saying they're like going to let us know tomorrow, but he's not going to play. I'm not confident he's going to play probably the whole series because it looked very bad. But yeah, again, they didn't look all that great, and I mean I know they went 2-1, but they only had spurts of where, like in the first 2 games they played Boston and Washington. The first periods they looked amazing. They were dominating play, and then second period on they looked like crap and were barely able to squeak out wins in those first 2. In the third game against Philly, they looked like crap in the first period and a half or so, and then kind of played better second period, third period, but it wasn't enough. And then they lost Hedman, and so that was a big thing that happened in the game that I think killed their momentum. But I mean, of course, I'm going to pick the Lightning in the series. I want them to get that revenge. I think everyone's saying they're a much grittier team this year. They added Coleman, they added Gaudreau, they added Maroon, Barclay. But because last year they said they were pushed around a lot by Columbus, so that's why they wanted to add that sandpaper that everybody says. But it doesn't translate. It doesn't translate to scoring. Gaudreau's not scoring goals. Coleman's not scoring goals. Maroon is definitely not scoring goals unless he's in front of the net and bangs home a rebound or something. That's it.
It goes off his face.
Producing. Yeah. So, and now they lose Hedman, their best offensive defenseman. So McDonough's gonna have to step up, which I think he's definitely going to be on the top line. Sergachev's going to have to step up because he's probably going to be running the point on the power play, the first unit. And, Kucherov and Point obviously are going to have to step up. Hopefully we get good news and maybe Stamkos can come back or something. But I'm not going to hold my breath on Stamkos or Hedman coming back. Vasi actually has to be amazing, I think, in the series because he wasn't that. All the goals he let in the round robin games were kind of soft goals. Not counting the Philly game, the first 2 games. Last year they wasn't great. They had last year they had one good period, the first period, and then it was a shit show the rest of the series. So he has to play really good. Their defense has to play really good. Their power play has to be good. Their penalty kill was actually pretty good throughout the year and in the round robin games. So hopefully that continues. But again, Hedman is a huge loss. Stamkos, I think they need to get him back for like a morale boost. And I'm going Tampa in 7. I think it's going to be a close series just because Columbus, again, is one of those friggin' playoff teams that they're just built for the playoffs. Their coaching, their defense, the way they play, their structure. They don't have that much offense. Their power play is garbage, so hopefully maybe that'll hurt them in the series, and maybe Tampa's power play can get going. But I wanted Columbus just because of the fact that they need some sort of boost to get them going and remembering what happened last year to them, how embarrassing that was last year, and try to get revenge on this year. So I'm going my boys in 7. And Dean, I'm going to take your advice. I'm only wearing black shirts and jerseys. I'm not wearing any blue. We're going to see if this works. And if it works, I will retract my punch to the face that I owe you.
Oh, yeah, good. All right, Shorts guy, what do you got?
All right. I'm going to go Jackets in 7.
Wow.
I think that it's going to be close. I'm picking 7 games because I do want to see at least 1 or 2 games where the Blue Jackets just blow it and get a good solid Tortorella press conference.
You just want those post-game Tortorella rants. That's all you want to see.
That's all I want. That's all I want to see. And I really want one of the bigger name Tampa newspapers to bring Larry Brooks on as a freelance.
Oh man.
freelancer
If any
for
of
the
you are
next week
watching,
and a half.
make it happen.
Yeah, make it happen.
Larry.
I want to see Larry Brooks. My pen just exploded. I want to see Larry Brooks come in as a freelancer, but I do want to see. One of the things with the Blue Jackets is Tortorella's teams, and even when he was your coach with the Rangers, Billy Dean, his teams, they pretty much have to throw. They have to throw their entire body into everything that they do. And I think that that's going to come to their benefit and to the chagrin of the Tampa Bay Lightning. I think it's going to be close. Again, I do want to see at least one or two games where Columbus just kind of blows it and Tortorella has a real solid press conference, because that's entertaining as anything. But I do think in the end, it's going to wind up being the Blue Jackets. I'm saying 7, and I'm only saying 7 because I want to see a couple of those solid press conferences. That's about it. But I do think that Columbus will win.
So I am going to take a quote from Mike Milbury. I might not be quoting it directly, but I find that Columbus is very much like a rash, and they are nagging and annoying, but eventually they go away. And I think that Tampa Bay actually benefits from Columbus being in that qualifying round against Toronto, because Columbus has won 2 series in their entire franchise history, and then have subsequently been blown out in the next round. So I think that the annoying rash aspect of the Columbus Blue Jackets is already wearing off, but I think they'll still be a little bit annoying in this series. But Vasilevsky needs to be incredible, and then the rest of the Tampa Bay team just needs to kind of find the rhythm, which they will. But Vasilevsky needs to be great, and I think Tampa Bay is going to win it in 6.
Tampa in 6. All right, so we got 10 minutes left, so we'll go a little quicker on this Western Conference predictions. First series, Knights take the 1 seed. They're going to play the Blackhawks. It was 2-1 in the season series, and obviously it's awkward. Robin Leonard's going to face his old squad. I don't know if everyone saw the tweet, but it was fantastic.
That was great.
Mark Stone had 5 points in the round robin. He has 17 points in 7. Yeah, he's great flow. But he's got 17 points in 10 Vegas playoff games. So last year he had 17 and 10. I mean, he's been fantastic.
Mark Stone might be the most underrated player in the NHL right now.
His defense is just otherworldly.
Two-way, his two-way.
Yeah, Taves with the 7 points in the series for the Blackhawks. Pete DeBoer came out and said that they'll need to use both goalies to win the cup. So he didn't even stamp whether it be Leonard or Fleury. I do think it'll be Leonard to start. Crawford, we talked about how bad he was in that last series. Fleury has 14 consecutive years in the playoffs, which ties Tony Esposito for goalies in NHL history with the most consecutive playoff series appearances. Thank you. He needs one more to tie Ken Dryden at 80 playoff wins. And, so pretty good stuff for Marc-Andre Fleury. We hope he gets a game, gets that win. That'd be pretty cool. The center depth for both teams is huge in this series. You got Carlson, Stastny, and Alex Tuch, who had a breakout in this past round robin series. And then on the other side, Taves, Kirby Dach, who I thought was very good with 4 assists, and Dylan Strome. My X factors, Max Pacioretty is going to be back for the series. He has 11 points in 11 points in 7 Vegas playoff games, and then I have Doc on the other side at 4 assists, and they need that second and third line to get going. So Kirby Doc could be pretty big. I'm going to go the upset. I'm going to go Blackhawks in 6.
Wow. Okay.
Right. It's 6 too. Wow. Okay. I'll make mine short and sweet since we're running out of time here. I'm going to have Vegas in 5. Vegas is very much not Edmonton. Very much not Edmonton. So, and I don't think Chicago was that great where they pulled this like crazy upset against Edmonton. Edmonton was bad on many levels during that series, with the exception of their superstars, of course. Chicago's going to do okay, I think, but Vegas is just a much better team with experience, and in the round robin, they obviously already have the drive. And they're all in this playoffs, it looks like. I think mentally, getting Pacioretty back is huge. So Vegas in 5 games. I don't think it's going to be much of a series.
Who's turn is it?
Schwim? Whoever.
Short Schwim.
Shorts, go ahead.
All right. I'll be quick. I think Knights in 6. I think the Hawks have some solid offense that they can steal a game or two. I think that Corey Crawford looked okay, but not great. I think aside from the other offensive advantages that the Knights have, I think if one of their goalies has a bad game, there's someone right behind them. Whether if Leonard has a bad game and then Fleury comes in, they've just got a 1 and a 1A there in goaltending. So you can't, I think the Hawks will steal a game or two, but I think it'll be Knights in 6.
Chicago kind of opened my eyes that last series. I didn't think it was going to be anything like that. And I mean, they weren't great. I mean, Edmonton was really bad. Let's be honest, but they opened my eyes a little bit. I think they're playing like they don't have a care in the world. They're just going out there and playing, and it's could translate into results. But I'm still going Vegas, but I think it's going to be Vegas in 7. I think they're going 7 games with the Blackhawks.
Yeah, I might regret that pick, but I'll leave with it. Avalanche Coyotes in that second series, 1-1 was the season series. They tied it up. Hall with 4 points, McKinnon with 3 points in their round robin / qualifying rounds. Obviously, the young roster battle. Arizona is looking for another upset. Kemper is a stud. Grubauer on the other side. In last year's playoffs, he had a 914 save percentage. 914 save percentage and a 2.3 goals against. While Francouz was 5th in the league in save percentage and 5th in the league in save percentage, 7th in goals against, and he shut out the Stars. Kessel with 4 points has 81 points in 91 playoff games. Comfort provides depth for Colorado. X factors, I have Cale Makar and Clayton Keller. I'm going to go Avalanche, and I'm going to go in 6.
I'm not even going to give an explanation or a breakdown. I'm saying Arizona in 6 games.
Wow.
All right, Shorts.
This is going to be sweet, short and sweet, and I'm going to use the same exact explanation for another series in the West. I'm going to say Avalanche in 6 because I need the Coyotes to lose and lose soon so that we have a better draft pick in New Jersey.
All right, Schwimmy.
I got, again, another team that opened my eyes, Arizona. I thought that wasn't going to be – I didn't think that series was going to end the way it did against Nashville. I thought that would be maybe closer, and Nashville would have no problem with them. But Arizona opened my eyes a little bit too. So same thing as the last series, though. I think they'll play well. It'll be a closer series than a lot of people think, but I'm going to go Colorado in 7.
Stars Flames season series was won by the Flames 2-1. Calgary's on a hot streak. It's an interesting series. Obviously, they've actually never played in the playoffs before. Can the Stars score enough? Obviously, is one of the big questions. Sagan and
That's
Bishop
one of
are both.
questions, yeah.
Yeah, but more larger news. Obviously, Sagan and Bishop are both day to day. They have not confirmed their availability for Game 1. Talbot with a 1.51 and 9.45 for save percentage in that first series. Actually, surprisingly good. Bishop in the other side was a Vezina, not nominee, but he was a candidate for it. The X factors I think are Mikhail Backlund and Pavelski, 49 goals in 137 postseason games. I'm going to go Stars, and I'm going to go in 7.
I'm going to agree with you, Dean. Stars in 7. This is going to be quick again, too. Stars in 7. The Dallas is still trying to find the rhythm, and I think they will in this series. This is why I think it's going to go 7 games. But, yeah, Dallas in 7.
All right, we'll go Schwim first. Schwim, what do you got? Prediction?
Schwim first. I'm going to go upset alert in this one. I'm going to go Calgary in 6 over Dallas. I still don't like Calgary's goaltending. I'm not a big Cam Talbot fan. But I don't know. Dallas, for some reason, to me, I'm just not convinced that they're good enough to make a run or anything like that. So I'm going Calgary in 6.
Shorts?
I'm going Calgary in 5. The Stars' offense is just not there. So I think the Flames are on an emotional high coming off that series with Winnipeg, and I think that they could just – the Stars don't have it together, and I don't think they're going to get it together. So
All right, last series, Blues Canucks. Canucks led the series 2-1. It's obviously heavy play from the Blues. They like to bang the body and have that really strong presence on the puck versus the star power with the Canucks. Markstrom with a .964 save percentage at 5-on-5 was the best of all qualifying round netminders. His .958 high danger save percentage was far and away better than the next netminder, which was Carey Price at .897. So Markstrom had a fantastic series. He's looked very good, and obviously they're playing Binnington, who led the Blues to the Cup win last year. Canucks had 78 penalty minutes in 4 games versus the Wild, which was hands down the number one amount. St. Louis had 6 goals total. Perron, Parayko, and Brouwer were the only ones that scored in those 3 games. My X factors: Chris Tanev, he had 4 points, including the game winner in Game 4, and then Vladimir Tarasenko had no points in his 3 games for the round robin. I'm gonna go another upset alert, Canucks, and I'm gonna do it in 5.
Wow.
Sheesh. My goodness,
Damn.
I want some of whatever you're drinking over there. I missed what you cracked open before.
2 good beers.
I'm gonna have St. Louis in 6. Another round robin team that's kind of trying to find their rhythm, but playing much stronger teams than Vancouver played in Minnesota. I think Dean, you've given Minnesota more credit than they deserve. I don't think they're a good team at all.
I thought their defense was
Vancouver's
much better.
good. I think Vancouver is a good young team, and I think they're going to be pesky, but St. Louis is going to find their rhythm. Binnington is, their defense is, as a team, they're eventually going to come together. They're lucky that this is a 7-game series and that they didn't have to participate in a 5-game series to try to find their rhythm. But yeah, I think St. Louis is going to just take this in 6 games.
Shorts?
St. Louis in 6 because I want a better draft pick.
Schwim.
Dean, I'm with you. I'm going upset alert. Vancouver was my dark horse sleeper team, so I'm going Vancouver in 7.
Nice. So last little piece of news: Dave Talon is out as the GM of the Panthers. He was there for 10 years, and they cut ties with him. Mutually cut ties. Next week, obviously, we'll get into a lot of the playoff stuff. We'll continue to do our Jersey series, which we haven't done in 2 weeks, but pretty good stuff there too. We had a great round robin / qualifying rounds. I hope it continues, obviously, with the playoffs. In this next official first round of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Guys, let us know what you're drinking. But Rangers, first overall pick.
Well, first of all, what's the over-under? We need to start taking bets on how long it's going to take Dean to say Lafreniere's name correctly, since his first name is Alexi.
I said Lafreniere.
It's actually pronounced his first name is actually pronounced Alexi, not Alexis.
Whatever.
So I think it's going to how long? How long until we hear him?
No.
say
Now
his name
I'm going to get it right because you corrected me though one time.
I don't know
once
about
you
that.
correct me once.
The amount of times
Jack
I don't know
Eichel.
about that.
It was Eichel for forever.
Yeah,
You're saying Eichel for a long time.
And how do you say Iginla's name?
Jerome.
Yeah.
Jerome. The soft J.
Oh man.
And Vesey. Weren't you saying Vesey for a long time too?
You're saying VC.
Or VC?
No, Jimmy Vesey. Yeah.
Yeah.
VC.
He's still Jimmy VC in his brain. And now he's irrelevant, so
I correct myself. Yeah.
now
he's
he's
in
JJ's
Buffalo. Good for
problem.
him.
That's
Yeah.
JJ's problem.
Good job, JJ.
They're
JJ, we
redoing their
love you.
jerseys. I saw. I want to see what they're going to look like.
so's,
Yeah, that could be good.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
Shorts guy, I don't know if you had a beer, but if you did, I'm sure it was a good ranking. I'll give my blueberry boyfriend a 4, and
whoa.
You gave your blueberry boyfriend a 4.
Of course you did.
Hold on.
my pineapple
Hold on.
425. What do you got, Shorts?
I'm not gonna let you skip by me because I was having a very classy beer tonight. I was having.
Oh no!
Yeah. Every day's Saturday. preparing for tomorrow's debacle.
The people have spoken.
Yep. And I think I'm gonna have a second one.
I joined the party late, but I had Paths too by Hudson Valley, and it was fantastic.
Good.
425.
Yeah.
I won't describe
That's
it,
what
but
Kev
it's
said.
freaking amazing.
I've had this before. It's delicious. Check them out. I gave it a 4. delicious sour.
Schwim, take her home, baby.
I don't got nothing. I hate the Rangers. I hate the Bruins. Go after yourself.
Oh, Rangers! Oh my God! Oh my God, the Rangers! Rangers! Rangers got the number one pick! Rangers got the number one pick! Oh!
Hide your kids.
All right, let's see.
Your poor neighbors.
Wow.
No, Melvin, look away. Look away,
Good thing
Melvin.
Melvin's not working.
Rangers got the pick! Holy crap, the Rangers got the pick! Oh!
We need to freeze your face at the end.
Oh! Rangers!
There it is.
Oh, God, they took the punch.
You sound so out of breath. So out of breath.
So out of breath.
I was not out of breath. I was trying to say something.